After dinner, everyone had gone upstairs to separate rooms, as Zarka had instructed. The place felt unnervingly desolate. The cold silence hanging in the air carried an eerie weight, made even more unsettling by the distant howls of wolves echoing at intervals. "What the hell? There's absolutely no network," Flynn muttered, pacing the room restlessly with his phone in hand. "How am I supposed to talk to Sarah now?" He stopped mid-step, frowning. In a house this big, there has to be a landline. The thought struck him suddenly. Sliding his phone back into his pocket, he stepped out of the heater-warmed room. The cold hit him instantly, and he zipped up his jacket. The upper floor was lined with neatly arranged rooms, separated by a metal railing. Peering down through it, he saw the vast hall below, utterly deserted. As his left hand brushed against the railing, the silver engagement ring on his third finger caught the light. He made his way downstairs, scanning the area for a landline, but found nothing. "I'll just ask Zarka," he muttered to himself. "But where's her room?" The next question followed immediately. "I'll have to find it." He walked down a corridor flanked by doors on both sides, glancing into each room with growing confusion. One door stood slightly ajar. He moved toward it. Peeking inside from behind the door, the sight before him made him freeze in surprise. Zarka stood very close to a young man. His arms were wrapped tightly around her waist, pulling her fully into him. Her hands rested on his shoulders. They're kissing intimately, passionately. The man's back was toward Flynn, so he couldn't see his face. All he could see was Zarka. She had told them she lived here alone. Then who is this man she is so close to? Flynn shifted his gaze for just a fraction of a second, trying to make sense of it all. But when he looked again, the room was empty. Both of them were gone. His heart skipped. Suddenly, a hand landed on his shoulder. He spun around in alarm. Zarka stood behind him, staring at him with her cold, deep blue eyes. Seeing her there so suddenly made Flynn's eyes widen in shock. "You here?" he stammered. "Do you need something?" she asked calmly, ignoring his confusion. "I was looking for a landline phone," he said, trying and failing to sound normal. "Come, I'll take you to it," she said in the same measured tone, then turned and walked away. Flynn followed. His mind was in turmoil. How had Zarka moved from there to here so quickly? Had what he seen been real or just an illusion? Should he ask her about it? Lost in these thoughts, he didn't notice the strange, cryptic smile slowly curving on Zarka's lips as she walked ahead. Morning had arrived. Harry opened the window of his room. A cool, fresh breeze brushed past him, instantly lifting his spirits. Dew-covered mountains loomed in the distance, hazy yet majestic, while birds soared freely across the sky, completing a breathtaking view. A knock at the door pulled him back. Leaving the window open, he walked over and unlocked the door. Zarka stood outside, dressed just as she had been before, her demeanor unchanged. "Breakfast is ready downstairs," she informed him evenly. Once again, everyone was seated around the dining table in their previous places. The silence remained intact. Zarka sat with both hands resting on the table just as before. "Has Flynn not woken up yet?" Joseph asked while pouring tea into his cup. "No idea. I came straight here from my room," Mark replied, buttering his toast and shrugging. "I'll go check on him," Harry said, starting to rise. "Sit down, Harry. Nick, you go," Mark ordered, stopping him. "You never miss a chance to make me do the work," Nick muttered irritably as he got up and walked away. "So, how was everyone's night?" Zarka finally broke the silence. "Asleep," Joseph replied mischievously. Ignoring him, she asked seriously, "Any trouble?" "No, you fed us so well last night that we slept like babies on those warm beds, and now this breakfast has completely refreshed us," Mark said sincerely. "Thank you for everything," Harry added gratefully. Zarka smiled in response, but there was something odd about it. All three of them felt it. "Flynn isn't in his room," Nick announced as he returned. Everyone turned toward him. "Maybe he's in the bathroom," Joseph suggested. I checked. He's not there either, Nick said, sitting down. Where did he disappear to? Mark wondered aloud. Maybe he went outside hunting for network like a maniac, Harry guessed. Possible. He's ridiculously possessive about his phone, Joseph agreed. Yeah, even inside the house. Do you know who he stays closest to? Who? Harry asked. The charging plug, Mark replied with a grin. They all laughed. Let's finish breakfast and then look for that lunatic. We need to leave anyway, Joseph said, turning back to his plate. Zarka remained silent. The bungalow stood alone, with no other house in sight for miles. Beyond it stretched a dense green forest. The four of them searched everywhere they could, but Flynn was nowhere to be found. Eventually, they regrouped in front of the bungalow. We've searched everywhere. There's no sign of Flynn, Mark said, defeated. I even checked the outskirts of the forest. Nothing, Harry added. Should we check inside again? Maybe he fell asleep in another room, Nick suggested. It seems unlikely, but we don't have any other options, Mark agreed. They headed back toward the locked door. Before Joseph could ring the bell, the door opened inward on its own. Zarka stood there. Without a word, she turned and walked back inside, leaving the door open. The men exchanged uneasy glances before stepping in one by one. Mark closed the door behind them. They had expected Zarka to be in the hall, but she wasn't there. The speed with which she had vanished in mere seconds felt deeply unsettling. Nick and Mark checked downstairs. Harry and I will search upstairs, Joseph said, brushing aside the unease. Nick wandered deep inside during his search. He entered a long corridor, one side lined with tall glass windows, the other adorned with bizarre paintings. Dust and abandonment clung to the place, as though no one had been there in ages. At the far end, he spotted a room. As he moved toward it, his heart nearly stopped. A finger protruded from beneath the door. A silver ring gleamed on it. It took him a moment to recognize it. "Flynn? Are you in there?" Nick called out, knocking in panic. No response. "Is this some kind of sick joke?" he whispered, but still, silence. With trembling hands, he bent down and pulled at the finger. It came away in his hand, severed. Nick's scream echoed through the bungalow. The others came running. They found him slumped against the wall, shaking violently. "What happened?" Mark asked, kneeling beside him. Nick clung to him in terror. "What's wrong?" Joseph demanded. Nick pointed wordlessly. They followed his gaze. Flynn's blood-soaked finger lay on the floor. Harry rushed forward and opened the door. It swung open easily. "Flynn," he whispered. The room was vast and empty. In the center, Flynn lay face down in a pool of blood. They rushed to him. Harry turned him over. They froze. Someone had brutally ripped open his chest and torn his heart out. "Oh God," Joseph gasped. Nick screamed Flynn's name, collapsing into sobs. Mark retched. Harry stood speechless, shattered. "Who could do something this savage?" Harry finally whispered. "It's her, Zarka," Joseph said coldly. "This is her doing." "But why?" Mark asked. "She'll tell us," Joseph replied, walking out. "Zarka! Zarka!" Joseph shouted as he entered the hall. The others followed. No response. "We should leave, now," Mark said, panic creeping into his voice. "Yes, she'll kill us too!" Nick cried. "I'll start the car. Grab your things," Harry agreed. "And Flynn?" Joseph asked. "He's gone. If you want to end up the same way, stay," Harry said grimly. They didn't waste another second. They fled. They drove desperately, trying to escape the area, but the desolate roads twisted endlessly. Dark clouds swallowed the sky, turning day into dusk. Suddenly, Harry slammed on the brakes. "We're back," he said in shock. The mansion stood before them again. "How did we end up here?" Mark shouted. I didn't turn back, Harry protested. She's trapped us, Nick whispered. Reverse, now, Joseph yelled. The engine died. Panic surged. A massive tree crashed on the car moments after they escaped it. Darkness fell. When they opened their eyes, they were sitting on the floor of Mansion Hall. How did we get inside? Mark whispered. She's a witch. She won't let us go. Silence swallowed them whole. To be continued.